Welcome back everybody to another episode on the creating world. I know this one is probably gonna take a while because I have a lot of things to do since I got back from vacation, so this video will most likely take a little longer than the other ones. But that said, as we left off on last episode, we will automate these bad boys. Now, I'm not so sure about how these guys work. In terms of how the items get processed, I believe they still get put into this belt at the same time. We'll have to test it by bringing in some electricity from over there to over here, and then putting in some items ourselves. But in the meantime, as you can see, we added Tom's simple storage. Now, how does this guy work? Now, I guess the best way to describe this is an easier way to look for several different inventories at once, just by using the terminals. And if you're playing on my pack on CurseForge, you should have this update available already, which adds in this mod. And if it doesn't look like any of this, like if the items don't have this aspect, all we need to do is go into the options, go into resource packs, and make sure, even though it says it's made for an older version, you toggle this on to create simple storage zip, and that will make everything look like this. Now, using Tom's simple storage, there's actually a very cool thing we can do, because we do have inventory hopper, which can be filtered. So we could also use these like this mod to input and output items into storages, which is amazing. But it could really be useful in tight spots. But of course it does need a bunch of these cables, so I also went ahead and crafted a bunch of stuff like terminals, a bunch of framed cables if you want to hide them, and normal cables if you want to use them. But this will be very spared in how we use them. Like, it's mostly to access like walls of drawers like this, where you can just go here and search for anything we really need. So yeah, the items do come out together, and yeah, the items are just gonna flow over onto here. This is where we are going to need a belt where we can pick the items up, and I placed down like a bunch of these so I could test out the speed as well. It is not super fast, so we might need very slow belts back here just to handle this. So we're probably starting to get to our first bigger hurdle here, is that the item management for this guy, the vacuum tube, because it takes in 4 of these items, and ideally would set these guys up to be synchronized inputs. So I need to have all of these inputs here. But then of course, as you might take a guess, well, you can't put items there on that spot. So we would have to have another area here that would have the item inputs. So you can see where my like issues are starting to appear. Because I need to try to make sure that all the items get fed into here so that it would actually like produce the item. Now it does take all 4 items at once, which is pretty good for us, which means that it will take all the items out at the same time. But this management is not really gonna cut it, because we need to we only have 2 inputs for 4 different items, so this is gonna probably look like a big mess. So after a little bit of tinkering around and making things look similar, we got all the way up to this. Basically, we'd have drawers here that'll be stockpiling the resources, and then afterwards they get funneled out into some tunnels, and the tunnels are on synchronized inputs, and the inputs go, well, wherever they need to go. And we have all for all of these. Now this one, for example, will have to handle 2 different items into the same one. So we're trying to make sure that the slowest items always end up in these things, so it just doesn't log up, because it shouldn't, because it's synchronized input. So I think this will be fine either way. Nonetheless, this one, for example, that has 4 inputs, 2 come from the left and 2 come from the right. Now, of course, we just need to actually power these belts and make sure they're going the right way. And then we need to deal with the collection system all the way up here, which should be as easy as this for now. As you can see, just a hopper into something. Right now it's going into a drawer, it's fine. And then we can even leave it like this if you want to, but no, I want to take these items into a proper area. Like all of these items will have to go into a proper area. There are only 4 items from this factory. As you can see, I already hooked up the train. We already have the road here as well. That's not the train, the truck, I should say. Yeah, that truck is already going on around. It only has redstone at the moment because I just want to test it out. He's gonna leave it there. We need to deploy or leave the items that he has somewhere. We need to process some of them here in some capacity and then bring them up all the way to here, and then of course collect the items from here. So there's a lot of work to do. But to test things out first, let's try and make this one, the automated engineer's workbench for the iron mechanical components. Now I also need to make sure, and I believe I can, that somewhere, yes, we can also toggle these guys on and off. And I will have to toggle these guys on and off, as well as toggle the belts on and off, because if the belts aren't running, then, well, we're good, right? If the belts aren't running, then the items are not being used, then the inputs don't get mixed and matched, and whatever chaos might happen here. Oh yeah, and I finished the power plant building, and this is how it looks. You guys might want to take a look. The inside, well, I showed it off already how it looks, but the outside is just this. I didn't put in any windows because I didn't feel like it needed any windows. And the sides just has like these stripes down where we have the power cables and all those things. And the back is also just some pillars, like nothing too fancy. And we did have to make space to put the wires for immersive engineering lanterns. Okay, now I have another issue, is that for some reason, whenever I get like into the, let's see, this has 600,000, right? Let's go over here for a second. Just sit over here while we wait for the truck that should now be able to unload. Just remember, 600,000, right? Go back here. Still at 600 and losing power. And now it's gaining power. I don't know what's going on here. I do believe that I'm loaded all the way in terms of chunks. Like, I have these chunks loaded, and I do believe I have loaded like even the connectors, but I don't even think that I need the connectors to be loaded. I think it's just an issue down here at the power plant, probably. Maybe it's because all my power comes from this single connector. Like all of it, all of my power comes from this connector right here. Maybe I need another one. Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. Yeah, I could possibly need another one. But it's constant power usage, and I'm making more, and those don't seem to have any issues like giving me power. For some reason, this guy struggles to keep power on himself. And it's not even like lag spikes or anything. If I sit here, this guy will completely fill. No issues whatsoever. So I expanded the infrastructure here, and now we have a glass area right here where we're making glass. Of course, we're also making flint and clay, but I don't think we're gonna need that. We have the truck already delivering some stuff, and we're just storing them at the moment right here, and you can see we already have some belts set up. I'll go to that in a second. We also have some here. I wanted to have some resources here just in case I need them for some things. So half of the items we get pulled into this area where we can later take resources if we need them. The other half comes into here. Now, first of all, let's start with copper, because all of them need copper input, but 3 of these need regular copper, and this one needs copper wire. So what I did is basically I split it in half here, and then that half will have to also be split it there. I forgot there's something missing over there. But that half, we go here, there you go, goes this way, and it gets split again, and half goes that way, half goes this way, and the other half goes here and there. So basically, if you put a stack, each one of these machines is getting 16 ingots of copper, which is pretty cool. And then we have the redstone for this machine right here. This machine is going to be the one that is doing the vacuum tubes. But we also need to make bamboo for this one. So we'll probably have to fit it here somewhere, because I want this one to be the light bulb one. And this one will be doing the vacuum tubes. So we have the redstone that comes in through here, and the nickel comes from there, goes through this press because we need nickel plates, and the copper that comes through here will get pressed, will get rolled into wire. And then my idea, and I just realized that this needs to be one block further ahead. My idea is to then send the items up with fans. Hopefully I can do what I want to do. Well, I guess we'll have to keep working on this. But basically, I want to send the items up with some item fans, or just some encased fans, and then we will be able to have them all the way up there. Now, we could use the immersive engineering leathery thingies, but I do believe that that would cause a mess. So I'd rather use these guys for now. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna like get the fans, and then we need some item chutes, and then the item chutes are going to be carrying the items up. So if I do this, of course we do need to put some power into those fans. We're gonna put these guys like that, and then we have them go all the way back to these drawers. I don't think I need to worry about which drawers they go into. We might just drop everything into a storage or into a draw controller, because they don't need to be processed here. They just need to be inputted at the same time. So I think we can now test this crazy area. I only need one cogwheel and no, gearbox, and I ran out. Okay, now I do have everything for a test, and I guess we can do one at a time. Now you can see I already hooked up the glass, and how am I doing this? You can see a bunch of weird blocks going on. These are actually drawer controller slaves. And what are these things? Well, they're a pretty handy thing that allow you to extend the reach from a draw controller. For example, if there's some gaps in your base, but you still want to have access to some extra drawers, you just put a draw controller and a drawer slave, and you can use the slaves to virtually extend the reach for something. They do need to be connected to either a drawer or a draw controller to work. And they also must have a draw controller. If you don't have a draw controller, you can't just hook up draw controller slaves to reach a regular drawer. You need to have a draw controller for these guys to work. But they're basically allowing me to input glass through here, and then input all the other items through this side. And I'm also sending the items up here, as you guys can see, with the fans, and the fans are taking the items upward. And I guess you can try it out with a bamboo. I made this garden cloche, which has been slowly but surely filling himself with bamboo. We can then just pop it over here, and the bamboo should just slide over there, and then it should slowly but surely move up into this belt here. Yep, there it goes. And then from the belt it goes into this drawer slave, and from the drawer slave it goes into a drawer. And I had to void all of these just in case something goes wrong. So we should have a bunch of bamboo coming in here. There appears to be some sort of items missing, because I had 2 stacks of bamboo and only 24 reached it over here. They're nowhere to be found. They're not dropped. They should have been in there. I guess some of it just glitched out somewhere, and for some reason I lost some bamboo. Doesn't really matter because all of these items were just constantly farming. Oh, never mind. Of course, the bamboo is already here. I forgot, because it's waiting on the final item to be put into this, so they will be all inputted into here. So for example, for the light bulb, it's waiting on copper ingots. Now I do know there's this little bit of a thing going on with the recipes. That's the multiple items needed for the input. Well, if this ever becomes an issue later down the line, I'll solve it by hand, because right now that would be way too much belts going on, and already have belts going up, belts going down, funnels and chutes and fans and stuff, and I still haven't done the collection system. So this is very complicated. And so for the item collection, I want the items to end up here. Now I will need to go and make some more storage upgrades. At the moment I only really have a couple of void ones, but I need a couple extra upgrades, so I'll keep a little bit more than 2,000 of each, even though I don't really think I'll need more than that, but that would be really cool. So basically I have chutes coming down and taking the items into the draw controller, and this guy will just immediately spit out the item into here, and then the item will just do its own thing. Now there's still this one that we still have to turn on, and this is basically just gonna need a gearbox here, and we should have steel and iron coming into the right places. They still need to be pressed down, so they are the pressed version. Yep, there he goes. And then it's the pressed version that we need to stay here in the drawer, as you can see, because these are the ones that then need to be turned into the crafting components. So there's only one key to the puzzle missing, and that is the copper. So let's be careful with this, because we do need a piece of copper here in our hands, and we do this and we put that there, so only copper will come out, and we should start seeing copper doing its things, going everywhere and starting to fill all the machines. Then the machines will eventually start producing. Yep, you can see it's already putting items into this one. Let's see what this one does. And boom, and then it gets picked up by the chute. I guess the hopper actually works a little bit better here though. We might want to switch this one for a hopper, because the hopper seems to have a wider range of picking up the stuff. Yeah, you see, the hopper seems a little bit better, so we'll switch these ones with hoppers. And there we go, vacuum tubes, light bulbs, steel mechanical components, and iron mechanical components. We have all of these automated. Guys, I found an issue already, and I found a solution already. You know how I said that we're gonna have an issue with these items needing 3 inputs? Well, we can just sort it out here, making these ones only input 1 piece at a time, and this one requires 3 bamboo at a time. And the issue came up here where the copper wire isn't getting into the place that it needs to. So I just redid this, so it all takes 1 item, and we need to kind of empty this one out. Out of some of these resources, because it's completely filled, and it should only have 1 item at a time out of every single one of these. Hopefully it gets fixed by itself, just like that. I'm still gonna remove like some extra, just so the copper wire can build the foundation here. Hopefully this works. I'm really hoping it does. It should. Let's take some redstone, some this out, and some this out. Let's just leave 1 of each here. Let's take some more redstone out. We'll leave one of each there. So hopefully it gets fixed by itself. Of course, we're getting a lot of copper coming in, but eventually the copper will die down, which means that this guy will get rid of all the excess items it has on himself. Then we can maybe just clean it up so it doesn't get done dirty like this one apparently has. Your computer filled up, but did you have the resources to continue working? Why are you not working? Well, I guess I need to just take out some of these items again and do the same thing here. And we'll probably have to do the same thing on all of these ones. Well, this is probably my most complicated factory I've ever built. And I have like half of it left because I made the ground floor too big. But I do have plans for this one, like for this area, so don't worry. So I'm not just gonna build the building here just yet, because I have a couple cool things planned for this area and for the next automations. You know, we do have a list. Yep, like this. We have iron components, steel components, light bulbs, and vacuum tubes automated. Then we need the spools and the connectors, and then some extra things automated. For example, the duroplasts. Yeah, this thing. I kind of want to automate this just because it looks like a cool automation to do. But then we need this, which is creosote oil, which we do have an overflow of. And we need acetylene as well. You guys are probably asking yourselves why this video is taking so long. Well, that's because of having a lot of complications, like personal things, plus school things, plus work things, plus several other things, plus also being on the holidays, you know, in the Christmas season. I do have to get some things ready and stuff like that, like a little bit of some health things in the middle, but nothing to worry, I hope. But yeah, that's why this video is taking, well, quite a little bit. But hopefully you guys don't miss me a lot. If you are, I'm sorry. If you don't, then that's good. I don't know if that's good. But well, now it's time for me to actually say the goodbye for this video, because I will have to AFK and that's gonna take some time just to make sure that everything in the factory is working fine. And with all that said, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, and see ya in the next one. Bye.